So we are in South Florida. I'm in Miami Beach. You're a little bit north, but like what? You're like 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
So you get beautiful weather. I have to say that me and Keith were working on a lot of stuff. We were doing seminars. Let me lower this a little bit, Keith. Give me 1 second. Okay. We've been doing seminars. We've been doing a lot of stuff, and he wrote an amazing book called Fatherless. I was able to host his launch, his book launch, and it was an experience that I still think about. Where he was able to share a little bit more about his book and what he wants to do, which is share his testimony. So what has happened? I mean, everything kind of got slowed down after that.
Yeah, it's funny because I almost joke with people and tell them, what happened was life happened. And I would tell anyone who's on the pursuit of their dream or pursuit of their passion is that there's going to be times where the dream is there, but there's also going to be times where it seems a little fuzzy, but it's still there. And so you have to make adjustments and change, obviously, according on what the needs are for the family and things of that nature. And so been able to speak in some schools, been able to tour and go up into New York and speak at some men's conference and things of that nature. So I've still been able to get a chance to speak, but it has changed a little bit more, I guess you say, in this current season of life, but still being able to just speak whenever if the opportunity is there to really just empower some people. And I'm in the process of planning a church with a good friend of mine too. So we've been busy.
Great. I saw you did something about, I think, September 2020 or something like that. You guys are launching. So hope I get invited to speak at the church. That'll be a blessing for me. How's this season right now? We did go a little bit off, so I had to reconnect you a little bit. For everybody, that's what happens when you go live. So what has happened? For me, I know you more, so I know that you're really close to your kids, especially because of your background. And I know that this is actually for you probably a really good time. You get to really, like you said, with your older son, you get to read, and with your younger son, you get to see him do other things. How is the relationship at home with your wife and things that are going in that nature now that you guys get to really spend time together, knowing that you don't have to manage all these things. Like before, you guys were just managing everything. Now you're just home. How has that changed a little bit?
For us, it really has changed because we've been able to have, like, I guess we'd say, deeper, more intimate conversations. It's funny, a lot of people are joking. I was talking with some guys earlier today, and they said, hey, 9 months from now, there's probably going to be some new additions to the family.
Yeah, Corona babies.
And wait a minute. But we literally have been having time to just talk. My wife and I, we've been just speaking about how we've been able to kind of like court each other all over again during this season, just because we've been able to have that time. And I think it's very important, because you get caught up in the hustle and bustle of things, and you really don't get a chance to, spend the time with those loved ones that you have to really figure out what's making them tick, what some of their fears are with what's going on. And just in general, because we're always chasing after these goals that are, at times pull us apart. But, right now at this time, we get a chance to recenter, and get back together and, get back to the basics in so many words.
And it's interesting because, right now we're looking at a lot of people that are looking at it from a different point of view. This from being in a church, and there's certain people that are stuck together that are not meant to be together, right? And now they're literally facing each other on a daily basis, at a point where they could get away, and now they can't, right? So what word, I guess you could share with us today with people? There's those, and I'm not just saying matrimonies or anything like that. We're talking about relationships that are people are together. It could be intimate relationships with loved ones, or it could be just friends that are just roommates, right? And what can we share with them today, Keith? To give them a little bit of kind of calm down in the middle of this storm, right?
What I would say, man, one of the things that, been good is, I've seen a lot of things In terms of walking, just simple exercise has been the thing that's been able to kind of start some of those conversations. Playing games, have a little fun time, that aspect, those have been things that help kind of, generate the bond or break the ice. And really just, I guess you say food helps. So you've been having a lot of family, like, at the table time. And all of those things has helped. In addition to that, just really just looking at the other person and really caring for them. Those have been things that's helped this time to kind of grow to where it's not like a misery, like I'm stuck in a house with you, I can't believe it. Not one of those things, but really just being able to make it a pure joy because, truthfully, a lot of times we don't get a chance to select our family, but we do get a chance to choose how we respond to the environment that we in and create the environment that we want. And so that's been one thing that I've been enjoying is being able to kind of create that environment, Like I said, I've been playing golf with my son, like the first time he beat me, the second time I whooped him, now he doesn't want to play anymore. So we'll play another game that he'll probably beat me in and want to play forever. Him and his grandfather, it's been cool to watch them just connect through the iPhone,
Wow.
He had like download the game, his grandfather, just helping him with it, like, hey, get that game, get this, and just see the connection there. And it's, the iPhone is bringing them together, and they're in the same house. So, those are some cool things because, it's perspective, like what you say. We can choose to look at this time as a time to say, you know what, man, this is gloom and doom, or we can look at it as a time to grow. This right here is giving us this opportunity. Although it's adversity, this opportunity is giving us a seed. That seed will produce some type of fruit. The question is what type of seed we think we're planting. Whether we're planting a seed that is a negative, that, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to me, or look at it as this, man, this is one of the best things that can happen. And I was on the verge of, getting a headache, because of work and stressing out and all of these things, or you can look at it and say, man, you know what, this is an opportunity, to just kind of rekindle, recenter back. And really just like, I guess you say, get that peace and, really see what it is that makes you tick. This is an opportunity also to cut out some things that are not good for us.
Correct.
So probably been doing some things that's probably not beneficial. Now it's an opportunity to start some new habits, that can benefit me some years on and out.
Yeah, I think you said a couple of things that really hit home. One of them is, thinking about restarting, right? It's almost like a rebooting. And it makes me think of the world right now, the planet right now, the country right now. We're rebooting, right? We're looking at the air being less polluted. We're looking at the fish getting ready to, more fish, growing in the seas, the water getting clearer. We're thinking a lot of less pollution in the air and everything else. There's a lot of things right now that I'm looking at to think about all the positives that are going on in this world. And these are some of the positive things it's almost like a rebirth. It's almost like a restart. And I think it's a great opportunity, for people to restart maybe their relationships, to restart what were some of the connections, right, that they had at the beginning, to maybe restart that again because they have forgotten because of the hustle and bustle like you're talking about, right? One of the things I always loved about you, Keith, is your relationship with your kids, and what a blessing it is to witness that when I'm around you. I always tell a story. We were setting up for a big conference that we did at Potential Church, and I remember him. I said, Keith, let me take you to dinner, and he said, David, I wish I could, but I promised my kids I would play a game. A table game with them, and and it was really something because we worked all day. The conference is the following day. We had the stage set up. We have all these things going, and all of a sudden I said, let's go to dinner, man. We're so tired. The kids are tired. Let me feed them. Let's go. And his response was so profound and so quick. You didn't even think about it. It was just, I got to play with my kids. And I think of that, and I always think about my family, my mom, my dad. Thank God they were able to come to games. They were able to go see me at events. My dad was able to teach me how to play baseball and bowling and pool. I became a pool shark because of my father. So Keith, those are the things that I wanted to share with you while we're having this conversation here with everybody live. It's something about you that I admire, my brother, and may God continue to bless you and your family with amazing health, 100%. And I know that you're like me. We're thinking ahead. We're thinking of what's the next step. We're ready. We're ready to go. I know that. But yeah, what advice to finish us off with everybody? What advice would you give people right now? Not everybody's a believer like us. Not everybody thinks the way we do. Not everybody has overcome what we've overcome in our lives, right? And if you haven't read Fatherless, I'm sorry, as a plug, but read this book. I've actually given this book to some of my clients, my female clients, my women clients, not just men, that have been fatherless, and they've shared their testimony with me, and actually with Keith as well. So I want to just push that book at you. But anyway, Keith, what advice would you give? Yesterday I was talking to Jose Flores, our brother. Jose. We talked about gratitude. That was the word of the day. It was about gratitude. We were talking about our lives, how grateful we are for our lives. What word or what advice would you give to people today that are listening to us?
Season.
Season.
Season. And it's truthfully like right now is a season. And one thing that I know about seasons, because I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, they told me there's about 3 to 4 months per season. I think it's 3 to be exact for those people who are technical. There's 3 months per season, but you have the summer, the winter, the fall, the spring. All of those are seasons. And each season brings a beauty. Each season brings an opportunity for growth. It brings an opportunity to put down some things that are no longer going to be needed for the next season. So in this season that we in, it's very important to understand that seasons don't last forever unless you live in South Florida. But seasons don't last forever. And with that understanding that seasons don't last forever, take on the beauty that the season is bringing. Look for that beauty that the season is bringing. In the fall, we look for the leaves to fall. We're like, man, when it's summer, we look for the sunshine. We look for the beach. When you look for spring, you look at the flowers. All of these things. Each season brings its own beauty, and that's what the thing I would tell you. In this season, look for something that you can cast your eyes on. Because here's what I know: wherever your focus goes, your energy flows. So wherever you're focusing on, whether it's hardship, whether it's I'm not going to be at work for a while. If you focus on that thing is going to expand. It's just like when you buy a car. You notice that everybody decided to buy the same car that you bought. So wherever you focus on, you and I, we all have this opportunity to focus on something. And I choose and I challenge us all to focus on the positive, focus on the joy, focus on the thing that's going to bring that happiness. Because in this season, it's not going to be there forever, but you're going to come out of this season. And the question is, are you going to come out a little step closer to being a better person, or are you going to take a couple of steps back? This has an opportunity to make or break a lot of us. And I think if we choose mentally to look at it as a season that we can be better for, I think it can come out on top, regardless of the situation that we face.
So the word Keith is sharing with us today is season, to stop focusing on the things that are not for us and look towards something that can be the blessing, or it can be those flowers in spring. It can be that snow in winter. It can be that sunshine in summer. So again, season. It is true. Every season has a beginning and an end. I had a season of cancer. He talks about his season of being fatherless. We all have a season that has almost broken us. But like I always talk about, we don't break, we stretch. And when we stretch, we build. And what we're doing right now, to be honest with you, is I think we're in a season of love. We're in a season of compassion. We're in a season of empathy. We're in a season of new beginnings. We're in a season of startups. We're in a season of actually people connecting with each other again. So I think that's a great word, Keith. I'm so blessed that you made some time. I know you got to get your kids to bed, and I know you got another, make sure wifey is happy, everybody's happy at the Collins house. But I want to say, man, I'm always here for you. God bless you. Thank you for making time for Life Changes for Life. You're a life changer for life, my brother. God bless you, and we'll talk soon. Again, thank you for your time today.
Hey, thank you again for having me, David, man. You need anything, my phone is always there. Well, I was busy today. It was,
I got you, my brother. Well, my prayers are with you always, and we'll talk soon. Take care.